The Zeir says that there's something called Derech Hashem. Rabbi, this is a very important lesson. Derech Hashem. Derech Hashem is the way of God. Now people who study Pnimis HaTorah, Kabbalah, Chassidus know that Derech Hashem means learning Torah, doing mitzvahs on the Madrega of Atzilus, Havaya. It's a very high level. So the Zeir says, Ma noter orche de'eraisa. Who is a person who guards the way of Hashem? In other words, you serve Hashem the way you're supposed to. Man de yahiv tzedakah lemiskin, if he gives tzedakah to a poor person. In other words, the biggest holy rollers, the biggest bali madrege, who daven a little day and all night, and they walk in the middle of the road. How do you know who's truly going in the way of the Eibishter? It's the one who gives tzedakah. Like the Gemara says, Ani b'tzedek echaz afanecha. I with tzedakah, I'll come to see your face. Rabbi Lazar yahiv pruta lahani v'hader matzli. Rabbi Lazar first he gave a dollar to tzedakah, and only then he davened. And there's a long story with the Rebbe Tzemach Tzedek. When the Alter Rebbe passed away, every day the Alter Rebbe came to the Tzemach Tzedek in a vision and learned Torah with him. And then he stopped after a while. He stopped coming to him. He had no idea why. And for months he didn't see the Alter Rebbe. One morning, Tzemach Tzedek is walking to shul, and a butcher stops him and says, Rebbe, he was not a son, he was a son of the Mittler Rebbe. Today's a market day, and I need a few ruble to buy a behemoth. If you'll give me the money, I'll buy a behemoth, I'll butcher it, it'll be kosher, Hashem, I'll sell it, and you get paid your money alone. So Tzemach Tzedek says to this butcher, Come to me come to me after davening. Fine. So he goes into the shul, Tzemach Tzedek does. He puts his towels over his shoulder. Tzemach Tzedek was unemployed. He was a kollel guy. He had money, but he didn't work too hard. He was a tzaddik, a goyen. And he's washing his hands to daven, and he says to himself, I'm going to finish davening in 3.5 hours. That butcher has to wait for me to finish davening for this few dollars. What happens by the time I'm finished davening, the price of the animals goes up. There's no animals left in the market. He took off his palace. He went home. He got the few dollars. He went into the market. He found the butcher, and he gave him the money. He says, here, you don't have to wait for me. Here's the money. Go buy some behemoth. He went back into the shul, threw his towels over his shoulder. He washed his hands, and he saw the Alter Rebbe. Alter Rebbe's face was radiant. It's in Hayem Yem. It's in Hayem Yem. The story, the end of the story. And Alter Rebbe was so happy about this idea that man the yoiv tzedakah lemisne, before you daven, you help a Jew out. You're a tzaddik, and you're a god, and you're a chassid. And when you pray, the sparks that fly. You're zoiche to see the Alter Rebbe favos, because you're two ayid natayv. And Hayem Yem, it's one of the Hayem Yems in Sivan, where it says that if you do a Jew a favor, all the gateways of heaven are open before you. I'm helped ayid fadinin apart kopkes la kelbu. Rabbi, which Hayem Yem is it? I think it's Chav Chasivin. You help a Jew earn a few pennies in an animal. All the gateways of heaven are open before you. Medav take wissen die drachem to the ilmas halyenim. You have to know how to travel the derech Hashem, the road. Aber das macht nicht aus. It's not what really matters. The ikir is hab machush and ayid natevetan. The most important thing is to develop a feel to do a favor for a fellow Jew. So the Zohar says, a geschmack, and ayid. Reb Shimon cried. Reb Shimon ben Yochai, you understand yourself how holy he was. He says in the final analysis, derech Hashem is unbelievable. But tzedakah mishmah v'tevetan, you do a favor for a fellow Jew. In the end, the $5 you help another person out puts the simple yid on a madrega higher than all the biggest holy rollers. And I want to finish with an unbelievable word. When I started teaching, I taught Notion Parkway, and I was there twice a day, like a mashpia does, which meant that I had a lot of travel expenses. I had to travel back and forth twice. So on the way in the morning, I had a bus. On the way back at night, I had a bus. The other 2 trips, I had to find a ride or I had to pay a taxi. I didn't have a lot of money. It was also very cheap. Beit Zach and Tzazamen. It was a good combination. So I was always looking for a ride, and I would wait for a ride sometimes for such a long time. It wasn't worth the whole wait. I could have walked. One of my regular rides was a Jew by the name of Mendel Drizn Olav Shalom. He's now passed away. I'm saying the story in his name. He used to bring his younger son to yeshiva every day, and if I was there, he took me back. So he schmoozed with me. He took me anywhere. He told me a lot of nice things. So he told me Amir in the Kazakh. He told me Vashid Zach. He told me the following story. That the Rebbe said once in the Fabrengen. I don't know if it's any Hanocha, but he told this to me. I don't think he made it up. That in the middle of Fabrengen, the Rebbe said, whatever the context was, I remember. Sie gewinnen 3 Medinas. Sie gewinnen eine Medina von Teira, sie gewinnen eine Medina von Avoida und sie gewinnen eine Medina von Medinas Chassadim. Von der Medina von Teira ist gar nicht geblieben. Die Medina ist Avoida ist mit durchgekommen mit Mesiris Nefesh. Und die Medina von Gemilas Chassadim ist geblieben ganz, and the Rebbe broke out into sobs. The Rebbe in English, the Rebbe said, there were 3 lands. There was a land of Torah, from them nothing is left. There was a land of Avodah, from them we survived with Mesiras Nefesh. And there was a land of Gemilas Chassadim, and they remain whole. And he meant America. And the Rebbe started to cry. American Jews weren't even frum. The Rebbe said once, I heard this myself from the Rebbe. The Eibishter geschickt Jiden in America, sie sollen Poshet machen, a Sachgeld. It's a direct quote from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Eibishter said Jews to America, they should Poshet make a lot of money. The money that American Jews made saved whatever was left of Shedus HaPleita, and it made it so. Amerikaner Dollar, Amerikaner Geld, nicht vom Menschen. And the Rebbe says, mach nicht weg Stocke. Mach nicht weg Stocke. This pasuk is describing Avram's greatness. And the greatness of Avram that he gives his children. So the Zayah says, there's holy people who walk on Derech Hashem, but in the end, it comes down to Tana Yidna Toiva. It comes down to Tzedakah.